Welcome to the QB Chronicles, an SMU football podcast with Garrett, Gilbert, and Kyle Padron. Join former SMU quarterbacks Garrett and Kyle as they break down each week's game, offering insights from their own experiences on the field. In addition to game analysis, we'll also bring you special episodes featuring interviews with past and present SMU players, sharing their stories and perspectives. Whether you're a diehard Mustang fan or just love football, this podcast is your go-to source for all things SMU football. Pony up!
Welcome back to the QB Chronicles, a Pat and Go preview with my good buddy Garrett Gilbert. My name's Kyle Padron, and we are coming off of a big win, season opener against East Texas A&M. The Ponies won 42-13, and now we look ahead to week 2 where the SMU Mustangs will host the Baylor Bears at 11 a.m. at Ford Stadium on Saturday morning. GG, what can we look ahead to, learning from week 1? What can we expect from the Ponies this Saturday against Baylor?
Yeah, I think early season college football, especially in today's day and age with all the transfers, all the new guys, it's a little bit difficult to judge what you're going to get on the field, especially difference between week 1 and week 2. You've got new offensive lines trying to play together. You've got new defenses trying to play together. Obviously, a lot of these coaching staffs for both Baylor and SMU are similar and have remained intact. But as well as Baylor's quarterback, SMU's quarterback, a lot of that stuff has remained intact. But you just don't know what you're going to get with the product on the field. So I think the biggest thing is, for SMU, the biggest keys are going to be, have a good game plan, be ready to adjust, but stick to what stick to the fundamentals, because you don't know what you're going to get out of Dave Aranda necessarily with their personnel and that sort of thing. So I think the biggest key is just stick to what we know, play our brand of football, and that's how you win these types of games. Now, it's going to be a big game. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun to have a Big 12 team like Baylor coming up here from Waco, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's so big. It's on the CW this week. I'm pretty fired up about that. We had TCU on the CW last year, so hopefully
we're 1-0 on the CW. So let's keep that train rolling.
Yeah, us and Live Golf, baby. That's where you can find some talented athletics. So coming off week 1, Baylor, they lost to Auburn 38-24. Tough start to the season for them. We'll say their quarterback played a pretty good game. He was 27-48. Sawyer Robertson was their quarterback, but 27-48, 417 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Wasn't enough to knock down Auburn, but still played a pretty good game. He's got some pretty talented receivers. Let's say Cole Wilson, he had 8 for 134. And then their big tight end, 6'4", 240-pound Michael Trigg, went for 7 for 99 and 1 touchdown as well. I watched a little bit of that game, and it looked like he got up gimping around a little bit toward the end. So something to watch. Not certain if that's going to keep him out, but certainly he's a big playmaker for their offense. It'll be something to watch, be a good test for our linebackers and safeties with that big of a body and being that talented running routes. Be a good test for our defense this week.
Yeah, totally agree. I think that's going to be the biggest thing is if you look at the stats, and I didn't get to watch a ton of the game. I was at a fantasy draft on Friday night, and I was pretty locked into my first auction fantasy draft. I can't say that I have the best feel for Baylor's offense, but what I did see is that they were able to move the ball, 483 yards, actually outgained Auburn by 60 yards and still lost by 2 scores. So of course that's, fairly tough to do, and to do that without any turnovers. These guys can move the ball. They are explosive. But what Auburn did a good job of is getting off the field on third down. Baylor was 5 for 15 on third down and 3 for 6 on fourth down. So they number one, they went for it a lot, but they also Auburn got off the field a lot when they needed to. So I think keeping them in long yardage, it looks like Auburn didn't even really try to run the ball. Well, 24 rushing attempts. I mean, I'm sure late in the game they weren't running it at all, but, only averaging 2.7 yards a carry. So that's where we need to be really stout up front. Our defensive line needs to do a good job, get them behind the chains, and then, do what Auburn did and get off the field on third down, play good tight coverage and get off the field on third down, good tackling. I think that's the biggest thing as far as stopping an offense like this, is keeping them behind the chains and making them a little uncomfortable, making Sawyer feel some of the pressure that we've done such a good job creating at SMU over the past few years.
Yeah, exactly. I think making them sustain drives, keeping the ball in front of you, not giving up those big plays, make them have those 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, play drives, make them sustain those drives. And it gives your offense time to breathe, but it puts some pressure on them to keep methodically working the ball down the field, knowing they don't have that chance to go deep over the top. So hopefully we can keep these guys in front. They do have the big playmaking ability, but our defense, to your point, over the last couple of years has been pretty stout when they get these types of challenges. And hopefully we'll light up club takeaway and light up the scoreboard. 2 defensive touchdowns last week, so we can keep adding to that as the season goes here. But another big test with the Bears coming up from Waco this week. As far as the line, I think last year we did some score predictions. Obviously, we don't promote gambling, but the Ponies are a 3-point favorite. I think you have the over/under in front of you. What are your thoughts against the line here?
65.5. So we're expecting some points. We talked about this a little bit earlier this week. I think another thing to note, this is one of those games where and you can probably speak more to the atmosphere on Saturday night this past week. But, this is one of those games where, to be a big-time football program, we need the fans to show up and be there and be loud for SMU. And I think,
Stampede's already sold out. That was like the student section. They showed up last week versus East Texas A&M, which, frankly, 8 p.m. start, I was a little concerned that they may not make it in from the Boulevard. And But the Stampede, they've sold out their allotment already. Certainly Baylor, they're going to travel. It's not too far, so they'll have some fans present as well. But
they'll show
I
up.
think we had 33,000 last week. So fully expect this week to be a sellout and have the Ford will be rocking at 11 a.m.
Yeah, this is a Power 5 versus Power 5 matchup now. So, it's not like, SMU's in Conference USA or the American anymore. This is a big time, interconference game. And, we've got to show up for our guys and help create that energy that helps create pressure on third downs. Right. And then I think, before I get to score predictions, just real fast, I think I touched on this earlier this week, but the keys for the SMU offense are the same as they always are. Run the ball well, stay in front of the chains, let Kevin be Kevin and make plays, but obviously know when the jig is up and you don't have to do too much. We've got a ton of athletes and players around you. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing. And I'm excited to see how our offensive line does going from game 1 to game 2.
Yeah. Should see
for a prediction.
Progression.
For a prediction, I think I'm going to go. I think I just got a repeat of Baylor's just going to lose 2 games in a row, 38-24.
I like it.
So I guess that means I'm taking SMU with the points and the under. But again, if anyone listening knows anything about me, I don't generally gamble, but I also am horrible in pick'em leagues even. So, don't go run into your bookie with that type of stuff.
Yeah. Please don't. That's not our thing.
I think, what do you got?
I like your optimism, 2-touchdown game. I'm going to have a little bit closer. I think it's going to be a little higher, more of a shootout. I think it's going to be 49-42. Okay. I'm expecting some fireworks. I think Sawyer's going to have a good day, be productive, but I think Kevin's going to outlast and outshine what Sawyer's going to be able to do. So 49-42, get some fireworks in forward, be a fun game.
One other thing,
kick off week 2 of the college football season.
One other thing to note there, as far as Kevin, Jackson Arnold had 137 rushing yards last week, and I think. If Baylor doesn't shore that up, we've already seen obviously how well Kevin can run the ball. He did it last week. He did it all last year. So there could be some opportunities there for some quarterback run game. And I would imagine the staff obviously will be on top of that.
Yeah, no doubt. Kevin did some good things with those legs in week 1, and I imagine he'll be able to take what Jackson – although I will say Jackson, there was a lot more emphasis on, QB power, counter. Not certain that's – as much of Kevin's game, but
more pick our spots with the QB run game. But
he'll certainly be able to create outside the pocket too and run when he can. But Expect them to have a great game this weekend, and the Ponies will come out on top.
I love it. Short and sweet.
That's great.
Pat and go.
Thank you all for listening. We'll see you all on Saturday. Look forward to it. Pony up.